So, hello guys, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. So, today I'm going to talk about the apps integrate action center. What does mean? Like, if you talk about any low code platforms or anything, like they have some human interaction because when we are using an applications, you submit a forms and then it goes to the xyz person and then capture some data and then just go with some approval system, right? So in UiPath apps, you know that we have already action center, and through action center we are capturing human interactions, and we are performing all the human interaction through the action center. Okay, so why do we need these apps? uh, Action center integration region, there could be like apps with action center will give you a little bit more flexibility. If you talk about action center, you have to design your forms for every activity. Assume that you have two and three activity, like for HR and manager, so every times you have to design it and change it and all those things, and then just do everything into your studio, or you can say process designs, right? So what will be the benefits here when you use apps integrate with Action Center? It will be kind of centralized application, right? So you can do a more kind of a complex UI designs, theming. You can write more complex logics. You can call external systems. I mean, you can do everything on the front end verifications and right, and then you can streamline your workflow. I mean, then you can combine your apps with the workflow, and then you don't what you can do, you can go into your workflow and then you can just go and select your action center forms, and then you can just deploy it, right? So it is very easy, right? I mean, I can say it's a very easy agility, like because you can just go and change something and then publish it and then it will work. Okay, so few couple of things are here, like we must note it down, right? Because this apps integrate action center is not something like a kind of a normal standalone applications. What happen, the moment you add any actions into apps, it becomes apps actions form, right? And then that application only you can use with human activity in your studio. And what it happens, that means like you cannot deploy the application in your folder or orchestrator. You can only publish the app. So if you talk about normal web apps, you have other apps, how it works, like you can just go and publish it. Once you publish it, you go into folder and then deploy it, and then once you deploy it, you can use those application as a kind of a standalone applications, right? So let's see how we can leverage it. So let's see, go and leverage action center. So if you see a referencing an action definition, we have some roles and permissions. So what exactly you need? So you need app creator, which is similar to the apps, like a standalone apps creation. So you need app creator roles, and then only you can create the applications, and you can say you can create the apps. And then you need co-author also to select the application inside your web studio. So suppose you have a studio web and you need to add it as a co-author to desired app to reference into your studio, right? So let's go and reference an action definition, how it works. So there are some certain things which we'll talk, like the moment you add, if you go and create an app and then you say just select it, add a control. So maybe the moment you said add an actions, the moment you said and add an action, it will give you a pop-up and it will tell you this will not be kind of a standalone app, because this will be available only for long running workflow. What that mean, like you can only select this app inside your studio for long running workflow, not as a standalone application. So you can only use for action center. Okay, and then once you go and click, then you can just go and add some input output parameters, apply JSON, define the your, you can say, definitions and actions and everything, and upload your schema, and then you can go from there. Now let's go and create it. Like I want to create one normal application, I can say demo action center. So the moment you select VB and I say create, so now if you come here, so let it load. So the moment you load the application, initialize the application, what you can do, you can add a page, right? And then what you have to do, you have to go here, add control button, click here, and then you can see here action preview, right? So the moment you select click action, right, this pop-up comes, create action app. You are about to create an action as part of the long running workflow, and this app cannot be run as a standalone app. So be careful, like when you are creating anything for action center, it will be only used into long running workflow and you cannot use as a standalone application. Okay, so would you like to continue? Yes. So once you go and continue, what you have to do, you have to select your tenant. So right now I will be selecting default tenant, then go to tenant, and then inside tenant you will have like list of actions, right? Otherwise what you can do, you can upload a new schema. Suppose you don't have anything and you want to upload a new schema, what you need to do, click here upload new schema, right? The moment you click in upload new schema, other tab will get open. Okay, so let's say other tab get open. Yep. So now here add action definition, and then you can learn more about these, or we have some template here. What you need to do, basically you download this action definition sample and then upload it. So what I will do, I will go and download one action definition here. The moment I download it, you can see this, right? Let it download. So I just opened here now. So now what you can see, this has some certain JSON format, and in this one what exactly we are doing, we can give the name of the, you can say JSON format, you can give the name of JSON, and then you can say allow action. In this actions, what it does, basically you need to define the list of actions. So suppose you have approve, reject, resubmit. So what you can do, you can keep those definitions name here, right? And then you have something called a schema, and then once that schema got, then we have something called required field, right? And then inside a schema you have some basic JSON format which comes, and then you have type of object, right? And then in type of object, what we have something called employee ID, first name, and all these also kind of a property. You can define your type and then description of particular field, right? And this is the field name. So basically this is the field name and then type and description. And then apart from that, you can pass as an object also list as well. So if you see your address, so inside this address, we're just passing as an object, right? And then you can define what exactly will be required for this object, and then it comes outside, and then again you can define this one, right? So let's go here. I have created one simple you can say definition basically for leave request application. So here if you see, name is simple definition. I can change this one. I can say demo leave request, right? And similarly I can say here demo leave request JSON, right? And then I have defined certain parameters, certain actions which is called approve and reject. So I have two actions, approve and reject, and then I do have a schema, and then I schema I'm just passing a request ID. Request ID is nothing because I'm just performing through data service. So in the data service I have ID, just passing this ID into a schema, I mean into flow, and then it will have some parameters, and then I'm not defining anything required here. Let's go and save this one. So what happens once you modify your scheme, JSON schema for actions, you define all the actions, you define all the entity schema, what exactly you want to play around, and then you define all the required fields blank, or if you want to define something, you can define it, right? Then coming back here, what you can do, you can import from file, right? So now I will go and import from file. I will say download and this leave request actions. The moment I say open, see here, the all's name and description just get auto populated from where, this one, right? So you can just give name and this will get auto populated. What I will do, I will create. So now you can see demo leave request one schema, JSON schema is created for actions, right? Now what I will do, I will go here back. Right now there is some kind of glitch, you can just close it again. What do you need to go and select action, continue, and let's go. Now you can see here demo leave request. So then what you need to do, you need to select this. The moment you select, this app will have defined actions, right? Now go and see here. So now what you can see here, you have input output. Basically, whatever you define into this JSON schema, this already treated as input and output. So what does that mean? Like you can pass the value from your standalone application into Wave Studio, and through Wave Studio you can pass the value into your Action Center app. I mean, you can play around the data to pass to the workflow and get from the workflow. I mean, suppose you have a triggered a workflow, and in the workflow you have some data which is required just to play around some business logic. Then you, what you can do, you can pass the data as an input, and then if you want to read those data, I mean the modified value or something happened into business background, into, you can say, workflow, you can get those updated field value into Action Center apps as well. So that's the reason it's from something called input and output. And then outcome. Outcome is nothing, whatever you defined here, approve and reject actions, right? This comes here. So you can see here approve and reject. So by default, I think UiPath Action Center apps make it all small. So this is very much kind of case sensitive, right? So even though if you give here camel letter, it comes like everything here is small one. So you can see your outcome, approve, reject, and then all the input and output property. Okay. Now what you can do, suppose you want to read the data from, you can say, actions. So what, how you can define, like suppose you have something and you want a control, and suppose you want to display something called name from the field, right? So what you can do here, you can go here default field, and I can say here, say here, you can see here actions dot whatever actions you have defined here. So the name will come demo leave request, and then dot, you will get all the input property which you defined into a schema. So now you can see leave description, leave title, leave type, outcome, and request ID, right? So I can give request ID. So now I can easily get the data when my page get loaded, when my app get loaded, right? So this is what is talking about here. So now if you see here, this all JSON, apply the JSON, and then go to rule submit. And then now what you can do, you can write a submit rule. Suppose you want to approve and reject, right? Now if you go to control, and if you want to add a button here, and you want to say this is something called approve, right? So what do you need to do here? Approve, and then you can go to event, and then here you can say submit action, right? This is the another rules which had been added for the Action Center. So the moment you say submit action, it will ask you what action you want to perform, right? So you can select the actions. So I can say approve, and then you can write, if you have anything, you can just pass from the input override. So suppose you want to pass some value, updated value, when humans update, humans change anything in the front end, and you want to pass to the workflow, what do you need to do is, suppose leave title, right? Here you can just pass something updated, something like this one, or you can select it from the front end. Like if you want to say text area, what you need to do, you need to go here and you just need to add that main page dot text area dot hello. That's it. So basically you can pass the value from the front end to the background, I mean the workflow, and then you can get also to the front end side, right? So now you can approve it, and then once some error comes, you can just show some message and all those things. So this is all talking about the action rule, right? And then what about the input override? If you see here in the sections, you can value input arguments as a section. So input override resource panel. So this is what I did, like action dot whatever action you have defined dot input parameters, and then value expression app control following sentence main page dot input, and then this will be value. So that, I mean, you can just pass it from app to workflow to app, and then you can play around the data, and these are some outcomes, and then on error you can show the message. Okay, so for you guys, I have built something very quickly, a application here. Let me go and run that, and then I will show how it has been used into workflow. So I have a lead time tracker actions and time tracker application. So now if you see here, so I have built a kind of a very good demo for leave tracking application. So now what you need to do, suppose the flow will be like, once I submit a leave request application, it start a workflow, and then this goes and create a human's actions, and then it assign a task to the human and then do certain operations, right? So let's say this is a kind of, let me go and allow this. Okay, so this is the apps. So I have something Web Studio, and then I have something called Demo Action Center time of tracker actions. Okay, so now if you see here, I have this application which is completely running as a standalone. So anybody from the organization comes and submit a leave request application. So the moment they submit a leave request application here, right? So So basically what happened, the moment it submit a leave request application, it triggered a workflow, right? It triggered a workflow and it goes into background. So if you see here, time tracker, let me show you. So this is the leave request application, and then I have new page, right? And in new page, what I'm trying to do here in submit button, I'm just going here, just what I'm doing, I'm saving all the data into data service, right? And then once this data gets saved into data service, once get created, I'm just calling process time of tracker approval. Basically this calls process time application, and then it start into background, right? It start into background, and then it send an kind of email, and then once that email goes, then assign a task to the humans, and then humans can go and assign myself, and then start working on that. So let me show you how it has been developed. So let me show you something called Web Studio, and before that let me show you, 1 second. So I want to show you 2 3 things right now, so 1 minute. So if you see my Wave Studio here, so what I have a project here, and then in Wave Studio, I have time of tracker approval. So this time of tracker approvals is integrated with email. So basically what happens, if you see this one, basically it start manually, and then it sent an email to the users. Okay, this is the user sent an email that time tracker approval request confirmation, and then once this sent an email, right? And then we have create app task. So basically in Wave Studio you have an activity called create app task, and then once you go into create app task, let me show you again, add one create app. create app task. So let me add once again here. So the moment you have create app task, you can give the title of the task, and then what you can do, you can select the mediums whatever you have, and then it comes list of applications which has been published, like action application, not a standalone application. So those application will come here. So the moment you select the particular application, you will see all the schema. And suppose you made any changes into a schema, what you can do, you can just go and refresh it, and then you can see all the input and output schema here. What you can do, you can just pass the value as an input and output schema, and then you have some additional features like what will be inputs and outputs, and then you can pass the folder paths also if you want. And then basically this has output which is stored into create app task, right? So basically this say what exactly what all value this is stored into create app task. So the moment you store into create app task, what you can do, like you can just close the workflow, or if you want to wait for the action, so what you need to pass create app task and send the output of this created app task. So what I'm doing, I'm just sending the output create app task here, right? And then once this create app task goes here, you will have output that comes like you have something called action center, what output like actions you have taken. So you will have output as action taken, and you have object also, so you can play around that. So if you see here right now, what my use case is like, if this action taken has been like approved, then send this approval email, and if this action taken is rejected, then send this rejected email. So basically in this web studio, you need two things. You need to go and create app task, and then after the app task, you can assign to wait and all those things, right? So now if you go to my action time tracker actions forms here, so let me show. So this is what it is talking. You can go and replace actions, publish an action, and see here, after publishing an action app, you need to go and define your action definition here, and then you can select. This is what it is talking about, create user actions, right? So now what I have done here, this is my page. When an action get assigned, I want to load this page into action center. So I have this action page, and in action page, what I'm doing, I want to load the data. So in the loading of the data, what I have done, if you see here, I have created an app variables. The app variable is a type of entity leave details, right? And then to load the data, what I have done, if you go here, if you see page one, so basically if you go open expression, see here, I have said new GUID leave request action center to a string. So basically what you need to do, let me show you again. So let me show you something here quickly. I have done something like this, set value, and then I want to assign the output as a kind of so what I have to where leave request, and then I can go here query builder. I can select my leave request details, and then I want to filter the only one record based on the ID. So what I've done, I go an ID, and then what I can do here, I can say here actions dot action dot request id, correct? But this will not work because this is a string, but I need to convert into GUID. So what basically I need to do, you need to convert like this one, right? So basically I need to do new GUID action leave request action request id dot to a string, and then basically this will convert as a GUID. So what it will do, it will just bring single records into this leave request tables in variables. And in the variable, what I'm doing, trying to do here, if you go here default text, I'm just trying to do var entity leave request dot leave title. So I'm just trying to fetch the data at the runtime. I'm not doing anything magic here. Okay, so let's go here now quickly, and then now if you want to go here, maybe let's go to the action center now. So let's go to actions. So let's go to actions now. So in Action Center, if you see the inbox, I don't have anything. Let's close this. Okay. So So if you see this unassigned, I don't have any task right now. What I'm trying to do here, now I'm just going to run this demo and I want to show you. So what I'm going to do here, I just go, I log in into time of tracker, I open a new request, and then I want to submit a new leave application in this one. So what I will do, I said demo, I can say I better say YouTube video blog, and I can say leave description. When is going for DevCon 2024, and then I can say leave type, I can say annual leave, and then I can select the start and end date 22, 29, and I can say submit. The moment I say submit, it start my workflow in background. Then you can see my here request has been submitted, right? And see your YouTube video blog. So this is the request here, some got submitted. Now if you go to your unassigned things, let's go ahead and refresh. I want to show you email also. Microsoft Outlook. So let's go to unassigned. Now you can see a time of tracker. One task has been assigned here, right? So now what I will do, I will assign to myself this task, assign to myself. The moment I said assign to myself, now you can see that this comes into pending because you guys know about it. So now it is under pending, and how this application is looking, it's neat and clean, very nicely has been defined, and then you can change the themes, logo, and everything's here, and that's how it is running right now. So let's go and refresh again, and I want to show you email. So let me show you something. So I want to say you the email. So now if you see here, I got this email. So I got this email. Thank you. I received a good email from the submission confirmation here. Now let's go, and what I will do, I will go, and this is kind of Action Center apps which has been designed here, right? This app. So what I will do, I want to reject this. So what we want to do, the moment I click on reject it, I need to capture the comment also. So the moment I say click, so what you can do, I can just go and approve and reject. So you can just go here and see here, this is something called capturing the comment. So I can say rejection due to workload. And now I can just go and approve it. I can say okay, right? Let me go and refresh again. Some error comes. So let me go. Now I want it to, let's go and approve. Maybe some problem with reject. Let it load, please. And then I need to get an email that your request has been approved. Okay. You can open this task into another window also if you want, right? So if I go here, let me refresh something, some glitch is there. It's taking some time. So now I will go to my pending task. So it is loading here now. Okay, so this got loaded here, and you can see my all the logo, then titles and everything has been loaded. Now I want to approve it. So what I need to do, I need to say approve. Okay, So this has some problem. One second, let me go here. I think I did disable this. One second, let me publish this. There was some problem due to, let me publish it because the ID was different. Right? So this got published. And let me submit a new request again. Demo leave request Arvind, and then I say testing workflow, and then I can select paid leave, and then I can say start date, and then I select this one also, and I submit it. So now basically it should go and get an email, right? Let me go and remove this. So now I should get an email here, please. So let me go to unassigned task first. Okay, so this got kicked one another workflow. I will assign to myself, and then if you see here, this came here one nice email, and now I want to go and approve this task, right? So what I will do here, I will go and just see the file. So this see here, all the data has been loaded correctly. Demo leave request, testing workflow, paid leave, and then date. Now I want to approve it. So in this case, on the approval, status must need to change. So now I want to go to data service. I want to show you something. So if you go to data service and you say leave request, so right now it should be submitted. So now if you see this one, which is the latest one, the status is submitted. Now what I will do, I will go and approve this, right? One second. So I will say go and approve. So it will ask for the completion actions. Do you wish to complete it? Yes, complete. The moment you say complete, this all tasks get completed, and in background the status will get updated. So let me go and check the status again. The first record. So now if you see the first record here, and if you see this one, the first record status get approved. So basically what happens, like I try to submit a request, you can say a new time of tracker request from the standalone application, and then it start a web studio workflow in the background, and then in the web studio what I am doing, I'm starting it manually and then sending an email and then creating an app task, and then once app task, then I'm just sending, waiting for the approvals, and then once this get completed, sending an email for approval and reject. So in this case one email must come for approval. So now if we go here, I can see this emails came for approved, and I'm just updating the status into background as a approved. So it works like end-to-end application from standalone to human interactions and everything. Okay guys, thank you for watching me.